The fall of the Watchers. Before the great flood, when the world was still pure and undefiled, the heavens looked down in peaceful order. Mankind was young and innocent, so God in his wisdom chose guardians to watch over them, angels to guide and protect the children of the earth. These were called the Watchers, the sons of heaven. One day God spoke to them, "Go now, my watchers, and guard the world that I have created. Let no corruption arise from the dust. Guide them in silence, look, but do not touch." They understood well what God's command meant. Obedient and determined, they prepared to fulfill their duty. Then the heavens opened, and the Watchers began their descent through the clouds to the earth that awaited them. At their head was Semjaza, their leader, who exuded a quiet authority. At his side walked Azazel, whose mind was restless even in the heavens. He had always looked at creation with a searching gaze, eager to understand what lay beneath the surface of all things. They stopped at the top of Mount Hermon, where the stars seemed close enough to touch. It was the closest point to the earth they were allowed to go, high enough to see all that lived, yet far enough to remain separate, as their duty demanded. Semjaza looked into the faces of his brothers. "We are here to guard, not to rule," he said. "Let us never forget where we came from and whom we serve." For centuries they watched. They saw cities of men rise and fall. They watched men till the soil and women tend children. But as time passed, something began to change in their hearts. Azazel changed the most. He was no longer content to merely observe. "Look at them," he whispered one night as they looked down from Mount Hermon. "They are fragile, but they have a beauty that we do not have. They feel joy, pain, and love. We only have duty." Semjaza felt this attraction too. He looked at the daughters of men and saw that they were beautiful. "If we were to go down among them," he wondered aloud, "could we know the love they feel?" His words spread among the others like a forest fire, but fear held them back. They knew that breaking God's command meant losing everything. "I fear that if you do this, I alone will pay for such a great sin," said Semjaza. But the others replied, "Let us all swear a covenant. Let us bind ourselves by mutual curses, not to abandon this plan, but to carry it out." Thus, on Mount Hermon, the 200 angels swore an oath that would change the fate of the world forever. They descended from the mountain not as protectors, but as invaders. They took wives from the daughters of men, teaching them secrets that the earth was not yet ready to learn. Azazel taught men how to forge swords and armor, and how to extract metals from the earth for war. He taught men the art of destruction. Barkil taught them about the signs of the earth, about roots and plants, and about poisons and cures. Others taught astrology, the constellations, and the knowledge of the clouds. The world began to change. Peace was replaced by violence, but the worst was yet to come. The women gave birth to beings who were neither human nor divine. These were the Nephilim, giants of immense stature and strength. At first, people looked at them with amazement, but soon their amazement turned to horror. The giants were consuming everything. They ate the people's crops, then their animals, and finally, they began to eat the people themselves. The earth cried out under the weight of their cruelty. The archangels in heaven, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel, looked down and saw the blood spilled on the ground. They went before the throne of God. "The world is full of iniquity because of those you sent to guard it," they said. God pronounced the sentence. He sent Raphael to bind Azazel hand and foot and throw him into the darkness of the Judea desert, covering him with sharp stones. Gabriel was sent to turn the children of the fallen against each other in bloody warfare until none were left on the earth. Michael was given the task of binding Semjaza and all the other angels who had defiled themselves. God commanded they be bound under the hills of the earth for 70 generations, until the day of the great judgment. The bound angels uttered cries of despair as the light above them faded. The stone closed over their prison, sealing them in darkness. The world was quiet once again. Then the voice of God resounded through the heavens. "The earth is defiled by the seed of those who have fallen. Let the waters rise and cleanse all that has been corrupted." And then the heavens opened. The rain did not fall in drops, but in torrents, a flood that swallowed up valleys and mountains alike. the seas rose to the clouds, and all the earth was drowned under the judgment of heaven. The bodies of the Nephilim and the cities they had built disappeared beneath the waves. Finally, the waters began to recede. The sun broke through the clouds. The world lay silent and empty but alive. Deep underground, in caverns of darkness, the watchers waited, bound by the will of God. They could not die, but they could no longer see the light. Their voices were lost in the mists of time. Yet, the legends say their spirits remained, wandering the desolate world, waiting for the end of days.